Do toys here get played with every day?
All day long, 5 days a week.
But what happens?
That's Toy Story 3, which was the highest movie of 2010. The Disney Pixar film made over $1 billion worldwide. Overall, Hollywood saw ticket sales fall slightly. But our next guest says 2011 is going to be a blockbuster year for the studios. We're joined by Paul Dergarabedian, president of Hollywood.com. He joins us live from Los Angeles. So, Paul, you say this new year it's going to be all about the sequel.
It is. I think, you know, people used to think of sequels as being a dirty word and that it showed that Hollywood lacked originality. But you know what? Audiences really line up for those sequels. And I've noticed that in years where we had huge box office, it was generally when we had a lot of sequels. 2010 had them, but not as many as in past years. Of course, the top-grossing movie, Toy Story 3, definitely a sequel, but Inception was not a sequel, and that was one of the best movies of the year. But 2011 is just loaded with big budget and high-profile sequels that I think could give us our first $11 billion year in the wake of this down year of 2010 at the box office.
It seems to be the year of the superhero, too. And looking at the notes you sent over, you've got an X-Men movie, Hangover 2, Thor, Kung Fu Panda. Well, maybe the Hangover I shouldn't put in there. But Green Lantern.
Well, those guys are superheroes to me, I think.
Yeah, you know, probably for a lot of college guys, they are heroes. But the other one in here.
Absolutely.
21 Jump Street? The old Johnny Depp series?
The old Johnny Depp series being brought to the big screen. I think nobody saw that one coming, but, you know, it's going to be bookended within a year that I think is going to have some big hits. I mean, we've even got a Mission Impossible movie in December of 2011. Tom Cruise coming back for that. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in December. We've got a Twilight movie. We've got a Harry Potter movie. Like we talked about, Hangover, Thor, Captain America. I mean, I look at the list. I almost need to pick up the list to go through it. There are so many big hits on the way. And this proves again that Hollywood and the movie industry is a cyclical business. Obviously, 2010, we were down on revenues and attendance. But 2011 is going to prove.
Second lowest attendance of the decade?
That's right. Well, think of it this way. In the summer, we had the lowest attended summer in over 12 years. And the holiday season was down virtually every week from 2009. You can't have a record box office year if your two biggest seasons, which are summer and holiday, are down. And that's what happened in 2010. The movies just didn't grab people the way they needed to build that big box office.
And there was no Big Bang at the end of the year either, right, with a 3D special. I mean, wasn't that supposed to be the savior for the movie industry? More avatars?
Yeah, and you know, a year ago, Avatar was just doing amazing business on its way to becoming the highest grossing film of all time. This year, you know, we had Tron, which didn't quite live up to that. It would be hard for anything to live up to Avatar. But again, in 2009, we had Alvin and the Chipmunks and we had Sherlock Holmes. But this year, we had Yogi Bear and Tron, and Little Fockers right here at the end is doing quite well. But we just didn't have the juice in the box office to beat last year. But next year, 2011, it's going to be huge. And 2012 also is going to be another big year. So I think after the downtrending year of 2010, 2011, 2012 are going to be very strong at the box office.
Are we at the point yet where streaming movies in any way eat into box office profits?
Well, I think the technologies that are coming along could threaten the box office, but I think that moviegoers generally, or movie fans in general, they want to see a movie on the big screen. And streaming a movie into your home is great, or onto your wireless device, but it's not the same thing as the big screen. That's why the movie theater is still here today. It's such an old-fashioned idea to go into a theater and sit in front of that big screen, but there's no substitute for it. And that's what's held it in good stead all these years.
So where are all the indie filmmakers right now? Because it doesn't seem like they're on any of these lists.
Well, you know what? The indie filmmakers are producing some of the best films, especially at the end of 2010, with Black Swan, 127 Hours, The King's Speech, even True Grit, which it's hard to say it's an indie film when it's in over 3,000 theaters. but the Coen brothers have that indie sensibility. The Fighter is another movie that is also in a lot of theaters, but it has that independent sensibility. And these films have been incredible this year. I actually love this lineup, despite the box office being down. Sometimes it's not, believe it or not, just about box office. Sometimes it's about having quality films that renew people's faith in going to the movies, and that good films can still be made in 2010 and 2011.
Sometimes quality matters, is what you said.
It does. To me, it always matters, and that's what keeps people coming back to the movie theaters.
Paul, thank you very much. Paul Dergarabedian joining us from our offices out in LA.